Hey everyone. If you've been following the channel, you've probably already seen the video that shows these 2-inch cylinders here that are prototypes, not likely to come on the market, at least from HydrosPlus, simply because you can see right here, it's even showing a little bit of rust. Not hurting anything so much, but you know, that's not even all the way in. It's just a little bit too big for that quick attach lever, whatever you would call this thing here. So I now have the 1.75 inch bore prototypes, and surprising to me just how much smaller they seem. These seem really beefy, but all I'm going to do today is show you putting these on. Now anybody who's interested in swapping out cylinders are not going to have are certainly going to be capable of swapping out these. It's pretty straightforward. You've got a pin here, another one here. A little bit of time you can get it. I am going to show you simply just so you understand what you're getting into specifically on this tractor, and I'll get into it in just a minute. But the way this pin is made, I'll show you here. It actually has a bolt on this side that holds on. This is your parking stand, and because of the way it's made, it's a little bit tough. If you only have one person, essentially what you end up doing, because this is sprung, you need 3, maybe 4 hands. So I'll show you. I don't know that I have a good technique, but I'll just show you what you're in for. If you have a spare set of hands, probably worth asking for a little bit of help, just to make it a little bit easier. You'll get it no problem on your own, just gonna take you a little bit more time. Maybe a few extra choice words and maybe a little bit more sweat, but you'll get it. So I'm gonna swap these over. I've got some work to do tomorrow in top dressing my lawn. So I'm gonna use the 1025 as well as the 2038. And so I wanna get it ready with the new 1.75 inch bore cylinders and see how they work. So let me jump over, get my tripod, and I'll show you what you're in for if you go to swap these out. Okay, I'm back. So I've prepped by taking the snap ring out of there, went in and took the hoses off, get those out of the way, and took this nut off. This nut's simply I think it's a 24 millimeter. It is if you get you a metric adjustable wrench, doesn't matter if it's 24 or 22, whatever, you can just get it off pretty simply. Now, that said, the beauty of the metric, now this doesn't work with a standard, but with a metric adjustable wrench, it is also a hammer for hard to reach places. So we've got that. You know what? I think my pliers walked off. Hold please. All right, I'm back. So use your hammer of choice, hammer that out, and then from here, really you can just take this, work it out. Now, what's gonna happen, I've got one hand here, so once it gets, let's see if I can see it here, once it gets far enough out, now obviously you can use whatever method you prefer. It's the one that I've been using. So as we get all the way to the end here, you'll probably see, you can kind of tell there's some tension on it. Oh, let's see. Let's see here, put this there. This is kind of springy, as you can see. And then this will be the problem, is when you go to line it back up, how you can see that, you're gonna have to use your third hand to hold down on this, and second hand to hold up on this, and other hand to put the pin in. therein lies the challenge. But once you get to that point, you just pull this one out, make a mess, one-handed man. Yeah, just like that, see? There we go. No problem. All right, let me get the other one. We will try to get it back in there without embarrassing ourselves. All right, got the tripod going. Let's see if we can get this in. So stick this in here. And let's get it. Come on. Spin this just right. There we go. So that's in, as you can see. This will be the first mistake you make. Push the, come on. Push this guy all the way in and can't do it, all right? So, pull this guy out, get him above. Put it back in. Ah, just like that. Now, let's get over here a little closer. Well, let's try that. So now, depending on where your loader's kind of oriented, you're gonna have to potentially push out on this just a bit. Good thing about these black nitride, they are very, I don't know what the right term is, but they're easier to move in and out. Seem to be a little slicker than the chrome. So that's kind of a nice to have. You know, they're supposed to last a lot longer. I don't know if that ever really comes into play for these types of applications. That said, let's see here. You effectively have to use your hand to get this guy somewhat lined up. And again, with your third hand, oh, it fell. Yeah. Don't fall on me. There we go. Stay into that. All right. Good start. So I don't know if you can tell, but I got it in. Got it into here, so it kind of holds itself. And now I've got to stab through this hole on the other side. Now, I don't know if I can show you. Let me see. On the 38, it's a little bit easier because notice there's no nut here. You've got this is kind of your foundation for your parking stand, and this is just a 13 millimeter bolt, and it's flat, which makes it a lot easier when you're going in here. And the reason it makes it a lot easier is because the extra little threaded piece on this one won't let you, what I would call, stage it, where you could get it just to right here. So you'd have this piece in place, right? And then you could only need 2 hands. So you get this right in the right place and you can push it in and it would go into the eye here. It's that extra little threaded piece that you saw that creates the problem. Once you do this, now I've done this a few times, as you might expect. And so I may have made that look a little easier than it was. Also depends on what environment you're in. If you're sitting out in the sun or something like that, you might get a little more flustered, a little faster. So on this, the way these work, you know, they hold themselves because they're essentially oblong. So that means you have to rotate these to where they line up. And it looks about like that. Let's see. Oh, man. I tell you what. Don't take that as normal, in my opinion. I have some experience for sure. I have fought a lot harder with this multiple times. So that said, that's all I really wanted to show you. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one here in just a minute. But just keep in mind as you're doing it, if you have somebody else, would be helpful, because what they can do is take their two hands and they can manhandle this part of it. Well, you take your two hands and manhandle this part of it, or woman handle, whoever you've got helping you. 4 hands would be much better than 2, but you can do it with 2. I just proved that. So all I'm gonna do, take my 24mm nut, put it on, tighten that bad boy down, put my 2 hoses on. Here's one, here's the, oh wait, here's one, here's the other. Not very good videographer. Put my clip in, and boom, done with one side, which I don't do this on mine because I take them off and on too long, but I will provide, there's a, essentially a, what's it called? Nylon strap that holds this particular hose against this. It's not necessary, it's just kind of a nice to have. None of my tractors have them because I've interchanged basically all of the cylinders or taken them off at some point, and to take them off you will have to cut that. So I'll send that along as well, but just wanted to show this to you. Tonight I'll get this one other side on, and we will shortly have tests for what kind of power we can expect from these new larger bore cylinders. Actually, let me hold, please. All right, let me just show you the difference. So what's on here is a new 1.75 inch bore, which that's inner diameter, outer diameter is new battery, 2.1. This is the factory one, and outer diameter is basically 1.8-ish. So a little bit of difference. What's crazy to me is this 1.8, 2.1, oof, this guy's beefy. And this one, 2.5. So, you know, it's a 1/4 of an inch in each case, but the 1.8 went to 2.1, but the wall thickness as the cylinder gets bigger, is the same for hydraulic tubes. To get the same pressure rating, you gotta have a thicker wall as your inner diameter bore gets bigger. So that's why I feel like, at least, you look at this guy, it looks a whole lot bigger. It just looks enormous. And this actually fits the tractor pretty well, in my opinion. All right, hope that was interesting. Maybe a bit of a teaser. I'll show you what here shortly. Hopefully in the next day or so, we'll have a video showing you just what these new 1.75 cylinders are capable of. Any questions? Leave them below. Thanks for watching.